Hey guys, so in this video I wanted to do lesson 4 of unit 3. So when we are solving by factoring quadratic equations, that is going to be when we have our GCF, or A equals 1, or A doesn't equal 1, or all of the above. So these steps when we're solving quadratic functions is given for us in our packet. First, we're going to get all terms on one side of the equal sign. So the other side, or one of these sides, left or right of the equal sign, is going to be 0. Then we're going to determine if there's a GCF to factor. If there is, we are going to factor it out, putting the GCF in front of all of the terms, our new terms we get when we divide it by our greatest common factor. And then 3, determine if A equals 1, or if A doesn't equal 1, we have to slide and divide. Once your equation is fully factored, set each term equal to 0 and solve. So 0 product property. So if A and B are real numbers, and if A, whatever A is, equals 0, then A equals 0, and then B equals 0. Basically what this is saying is that if we ended up with x times x minus 7, and this equals 0, well, we would have outside equals to our 0, we would have inside equal to our 0. Either way, we would have x equals 0, then on the inside we would have to solve for x, so x would equal positive 7. So our answers for the expression or the equation that was given originally, the solutions for x is 0 and 7. So that's basically all that zero product property is talking about. So for number 1, looking at 1x squared, negative 3x, and 18. Do we have a greatest common factor? No. We want one side of the equal sign to be 0. So we're going to subtract 18 from both sides. 18 minus 18 cancels out because it's a 0. So we get x squared minus 3x minus 18. Does our A equal 1? Yes, right there. So then we're going to use our big X method to factor this expression. So our big X, our B goes off to the left, our C goes off to the right, and we're looking for two numbers that multiply to give us 18, but also add and subtract to give us 3. The answer is 3 and 6. Now 3 times 6 does give us 18, but it does not give us negative 18. 3 plus positive 6 does not give us negative 3, so we have to kind of adjust one of them at least, maybe both. 3 plus 6 needs to be giving us negative 3, so we have to change the 6 to negative. If you change the 3 to negative instead of 6, negative 3 plus positive 6 does not give us negative 3, so it does not make the statement true. 6 negative does make it true. Positive 3 times negative 6 does give us negative 18. So our magic numbers are positive 3 and negative 6. Did we slide our A, or did we do anything extra in this problem? No, we did not slide, so we are not using the slide and divide method. So our factored form is simply the two parentheses, the variable that we are factoring, which is x. Our first magic number is positive 3. Our second magic number is negative 6. So this is from lesson 2. The only thing extra that we are doing in this lesson 4 is we're going to take each parentheses and set it equal to 0 to solve. So in this case, we're getting x by itself. So subtract 3, x equals -3. Getting x by itself, plus 6, x equals 6. So our solutions are -3 and +6. Okay, so let's keep going. Let's look at number 6. So, kind of got cut off, so I'll rewrite it. Number 6 was 5x squared minus 10x minus 175. And it was already equal to 0. So our first step was already done for us. Once that equals to 0, then we have to determine what the greatest common factor is. Well, our smallest number, our smallest coefficient is 5. 5 can go into all three terms. So our greatest common factor is 5. From lesson 1, if we have a greatest common factor, we can factor that GCF out. So 5x squared divided by 5 gives me x squared. Negative 10x divided by 5 gives me negative 2x. And negative 175 divided by 5 gives me negative 35. So then, does my a equal 1? Well, now it does. So yes. Once it equals 1, we can use our big X method. We are only looking at this expression to factor it further. So our b is negative 2. Our c is negative 35. So what times what gives us 35, but also adds or subtracts to give us 2? Well, that would be 5 and 7. 5 times 7 does not give us negative 35, and 5 plus 7 also does not give us negative 2. So which one do we have to change for the addition for it to be negative 2? Well, the 7. So 5 plus negative 7 does give us negative 2. 5 plus negative 7 gives us negative 35. So our magic numbers are positive 5 and negative 7. Variable that we were factoring was x. Now, were we using the method, the slide and divide? No, so we do not have to divide the 5 and 7 at all. So our factored form are our two parentheses, x plus 5 and x minus 7. But do remember you had a GCF, so that 5 goes out front. Now, when I am solving or finding my solutions, I don't care about the GCF. I only care about the parentheses or the factors. So I have x plus 5 equals 0, and x minus 7 equals 0. I'm getting x by itself, so subtract 5, x equals negative 5. Getting x by itself for the x minus 7, so plus 7, x equals 7. So my solutions are negative 5 and positive 7. Okay. So then let's do number 8. Number 8's a little bit different. So number 8, do we have a greatest common factor? No. Is everything on one side, meaning one side equal to 0? Yes. So no or none GCF. Our A does not equal 1, so we got to change that. We've got to slide our A over to our C. So now we have x squared minus 5x minus 24 equals 0. Now does our A equal 1? Yes. So now we can use our big X method to find our factored form. So our big X, -5 is our B, our C is -24, and you're finding two numbers that multiply to give you a 24, but also can add or subtract to give you 5. The answer is 3 and 8. 3 times 8 does not give us -24, so we are going to have to adjust it a little bit. And 3 plus 8 does not give us -5, but that's what we want. So in between 3 and 8, which one do we have to change to negative, or do we have to change both of them to negative to get to -5? We have to change the 8. 3 plus -8 does give us -5, so that makes it true. If we do +3 times -8, does that give us -24? Yes. So our magic numbers are +3 and -8. So we did slide for this one, so we're having to slide and divide. So our magic numbers create a factored form of x plus 3 and x minus 8. But we're having to come underneath it and divide what we slid. And we slid a 2. So 3 divided by 2, 8 divided by 2. Can you simplify the fraction 3 over 2? No. So the 2 moves in front of the variable. So your factored form becomes 2x plus 3. And then on the second parentheses, can you simplify 8 over 2? Yes. It becomes x minus 4. So if you can simplify the fraction, do so. If you cannot, then you're taking the denominator and putting it in front of the variable. So once we have our factored form, then we are going to set both factors equal to 0. So the second one's pretty easy. You're getting x by itself, plus 4 on both sides, x equals 4. On the first parentheses, or the first factor, getting x by itself, opposite of PEMDAS, so subtract 3, 2x equals -3. X is still not by itself. There's multiplication in between, so I got to divide by 2. So my x's equal -3 over 2 and positive 4. So that is what's going to go under my solutions. So take a second if you need to pause the video and look at the work. Make sure you come in and ask questions. Thanks.